I think that's an interesting.
That's fun. Yeah.
That's an interesting.
Well, that's where bootlegging the term came from.
Is that right?
100%.
See, you heard that here. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Coming to you somewhat live from the Beer to Whiskey Studios high atop Barley's Tap Room on Washington Street in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of It's Just Bourbon. And I'm sitting here with my good buddy, Big John Richards, who is actually our beer whisperer at Beer to Whiskey. But he's got a great palate, and I love drinking with him. He likes bourbon, I like bourbon, so here we are. So today we've got a bottle of Garrison Brothers Estacado, and it is a specialty bourbon that they did in collaboration with the Estacado Winery up near Lubbock, Texas. And you may not think of Texas as a wine producing state. I certainly don't. But anyway, they do make some wine, and so they did this collaboration. I have to tell you, I had a sip of this 4 years ago when I shot the interview with Dan Garrison. If you look at the playlist and look at Texas distilleries, you'll see this there. But in fact, I don't know if I bought it or if if Dan gave it to me. I can't remember now. And if Dan did give it to me, salute Dan, thank you. I don't remember it, but it is. The whole thing is it's been aged for 3 years in charred oak barrels, as bourbon should be, and then they take it and they dump it into port barrels from this winery, and it's in there. They don't actually make a claim as to how long it's in those barrels, because the head distiller at Garrison Brothers checks on it every 3 months, and when he thinks it tastes the way he wants it to taste, they bottle it and off they go. So that's essentially what we're dealing with here. This is in what is called a boot flask, and the idea of this is, particularly if the size of Dan Garrison, who's a substantial guy. This flask is supposed to slip into your boot, and the star on the bottle is raised a little bit to keep it from slipping out at some point. But I think that's an interesting.
That's fun. Yeah.
That's an interesting.
Well, that's where bootlegging the term came from.
Is that right?
100%.
See, you heard that here. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you could actually be working on opening this.
I can.
Up as
I thought you had more to say.
I don't have a whole heck of a lot more to say. One of the interesting things is Garrison Brothers is located in High, Texas, which is west, maybe southwest of Austin. It's west and south, so it's southwest of Austin.
That's how that works.
That is how that works. But it gets really hot down there. So when they first started making bourbon, the first batch absolutely destroyed the barrels they were in. It got so hot, and it was so much stress on the barrels. They broke, they leaked, it all went haywire. So they actually had to find a barrel cooper who could make barrels substantial enough that they could age bourbon in Texas. And this is part of that. This is part of that program. It's 107 proof.
That was my next question.
Yeah, 107 proof.
That's big.
Yeah, it is. It's a big bourbon. However, I'm thinking because of, it's sort of like my favorite rye is Angel's Envy rye, which is a done in sherry or port barrels, one of the other sherry. And you can't even tell hardly it's rye. It is so enriched by spending some time in those wine barrels. So I'm interested in seeing what this is.
I'm really thrilled because I've really liked their whiskey, and we've talked about the bent or the trend toward using wine barrels of various kinds, especially port cherry barrels, to age whiskey, and it always seems to turn out gloriously.
Oh, you can smell the wine
here. Yeah.
And this is Garrison Brothers now does, I don't know, 3 or 4 specialty products like this.
Oh, that got too big. Swirling it around was too much. I was like really getting a plummy port flavor or aroma out of it. And I feel like I was pulling some of that apple thing that I tend to get out of a lot of these whiskeys, but
I think there is some apple in there, and I hate to admit that because it just makes them feel good. But I'm kind of getting a little hint of apple out of this too.
Get too close to the glass and you just get the hairspray, the ethanol. Ooh, that's
big.
Oh my goodness.
That is big.
That's real big. But it's also real smooth.
It is.
Like I just got just a bit of burn on the back of my throat. On my tongue, I don't feel the burn at all.
I don't either, and I've got so much brown sugar going on.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you.
Yeah, there's a pie in there.
Yeah, it's a big brown sugar thing going on, which I like.
Yeah, it's like a brown sugar graham cracker crust thing.
Wow.
Ooh, that's fun.
That is tasty.
There's a bunch of fruit up front on the nose, and then when it hits your palate, it's brown sugar. I already said all the words. Brown sugar, graham crackers. That's all I'm thinking of. Honey.
Yeah, I'm getting some honey out of it as well. Wow.
All playing together. It tastes.
That is delicious.
Yeah, it's delightful.
Holy crap. Now the bad news is you're looking at about $85 a bottle for this size bottle.
So when we determine what that is that can't be 500. It's got to be a 250.
I don't know.
375.
375.
I was right there in the middle. It was between the two.
So it's and like I say, I can't remember. It was 4 or 5 years ago when I did that interview there, and I can't remember whether they gave that to me or I bought it. But if I did buy it, I got a discount on it if I did buy it, and I don't remember what I paid for it. But
Yeah.
this is, holy cow, this is good.
Just putting that little drop of water in there opens up that honey crackery aroma too.
Just 2 drops.
2 drops. And again, if you haven't watched any of our other videos, this is legit. You should try this at home. How much 2 drops of water will change
Will affect it.
The taste of your whiskey will blow your mind. Ooh, that opened up all the spice. Oh man, where I said I only got burn on the back of my tongue from that first sip, now my whole front of my tongue is just pinging hard with all that big, like peppery cardamom spiciness.
Yep, you're right.
Ooh, that is fun. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
It's still lingering with me. It's just now backing off where I'm starting to taste the plum and the apple on the back end of it.
My tongue has been fried.
Right? Yeah, every time I just exhaling, laughing over it, it's activating all that pepper on my tongue again.
This is another one of those that I actually like better without putting any water in it.
Yeah?
Yep. It's funny, you get some bourbons and whiskeys where it'll enhance it, and others where it will change it to the point where you're not as happy with it.
This doesn't taste like, it almost doesn't taste like the same whiskey.
Right.
After
That's
putting
what
those drops of
that's
water.
what I'm saying.
I'm not sure I like one or the other better.
I like the original. I like it without the water in it.
Well, it definitely opens up the spice. It's still opening up the spice.
Boy, it just explodes on the front of your tongue.
Yeah,
The
it
spice
does.
just goes bang. But I have
And I
to
suspect that's probably what it's supposed to do.
I have to tell you, you probably can't see it because the whiskey is dark, but you buy a bottle of this and you got Dan Garrison's signature on the back of it. He signs these. He signs anything that's got his signature on it, he actually signs.
That's exciting.
It is. You can't see it either. It's kind of a silver.
I can see it.
But
It just sort of looks like a squiggle, but I get what it is. That's fun.
it is.
Yeah. Well, that's what you can do when you're, as boutique as they are.
And they are boutique, and they're bourbons all made with Texas corn. That's a big deal for them. All the corn is in. On most of them, I don't think it's on here. It does say Texas corn, but on most of them, it will tell you the region of Texas the corn came from.
Well, I think it's on the side of the bottle.
It is.
There's both sides have information about where it came from and what it is.
Yeah.
Who made it, where it came from.
And one of the things that is fun about Garrison Brothers is they bring civilians in. People apply to come in and bottle their bourbon. And so it's people like you and me who are putting this stuff in the bottle, they're hand dipping it, to get the thing on the label, the whole thing, which is kind of cool. It's a big deal, and it's the folks who go do that are treated like royalty, and they have a great time. It's really a good time. So,
Good stuff.
have we done
Visit some Texas.
have we done all the damage we can do here?
Probably. I'm just going to sit here and be lost in this whiskey like I was for the last about 30 seconds.
I know. So damn lucky. See you next time.